In this video, we are going to be looking at naming and writing the formulas for type 2 compounds. And as you recall, if you have a periodic table, something like that, and here's our staircase over here, type 2 compounds were ones where I had an element that had two charges here, and then that was hooked up with either a nonmetal or it could be hooked up with one of those polyatomic ions. Okay, so those are the ones we're looking at. Okay, so the key to naming a type 2 compound is to figure out which charge it's using. So iron can play as a 3 plus charge, or it can play as a 2 plus charge. And there might be other options, but those are the main ones. So it can play as a 3 plus or as a 2 plus. So when we're looking to name something, I have to say it's an iron 3 or an iron 2. Here's an example of what I mean. For this one particular one, we'll use gold. So gold can play as a 3 plus charge or a 1 plus charge. So if I have the name or the formula AU2O, I need to know which charge it's playing. It's not a 2 plus. I can't just use that number here to indicate that. I have to look at the formula and look at what anion there is there to determine what charge gold is playing as. Once I've determined that, then I can give it the name. So I can't just say gold oxide. It has to be gold 1 oxide or gold 3 oxide. So here's the two scenarios that you have. Oh, here's it, name it. Name the cation first, anion second. With the first one, you have to say which charge is being used. And you put the charge in brackets, and you put it in Roman numerals, and you put it right behind the name. I'll show you how to do it. So I have AU2O. So is that gold 3 plus oxide or gold 3 oxide, or is it gold 1 oxide? So I've just laid these out here. So oxygen has a 2 minus charge, and what I need to do is balance these charges. So right now they're not balanced. This has 6. This only has 1. And I guess that would be, if you look here, it says 2 golds and 1 oxygen. If I had 2 golds and 1 oxygen, would those be balanced? It wouldn't, right? Because this would give me a 6 plus, and only 1 oxygen only gives me a 2 minus. So this is not balanced. Whereas if you look over here, if I'm using the 1 plus charge, gold is a 1 plus, oxygen is a 2 minus. If there's 2 of them, that gives me a 2 plus charge here and a 2 minus charge there. They're balanced. Therefore, this formula where I use 2 gold ions and 1 oxygen or oxide ion, this gold must be playing as a 1 plus. Therefore, this name isn't this one over here, it's this. It would be gold, and then in Roman brackets and Roman numerals, I indicate which charge it's using. It's using the 1 plus charge, so the Roman numeral for 1 is 1, or a capital I. So gold 1 oxide. That would be the name for this compound here. Now, just for interest, if I wanted to know what the formula for that one over there was, like right now, you notice that that's not balanced, but I could balance it, of course. So if I put another oxygen, that's 4, another one, that would give me 6 minus here, and I have a 6 plus there. So with the gold 3 plus ion, I'd need 2 gold 3 plus ions, and I'd need 1, 2, 3. That was a 6 minus there. That was just my total charge. I'd need 2 gold 3 plus and 3 oxide ions. So the formula for that would be AU2, because you need 2 of them, and 3 oxygens. So this formula here would be the right one for gold, and it's playing as a 3 plus ion, so gold 3 oxide. Now, as you'll notice, you can't just look at the name unless you've done it lots and be able to tell which charge it's using. It's often a little bit of a mystery or a puzzle to try and figure out which of those charges it's using. Let's try some. If you're feeling just a little bit dangerous, go ahead and press pause and try them on your own. Now, maybe you've paused, but notice that the charge that this takes is really dependent on what the anion is. And so if I know what that anion is playing as, and I always do, those ones don't change, I can determine what that is. So bromine, if you look on your chart, it's 1 minus. And so for these to be even, this copper can't be a 2 plus, it has to be a 1 plus in order for those things to balance. So the name of this compound would be copper, since it's using the 1 plus charge, so it's copper 1 bromide. That's its name. Whereas this one here, bromine, has a 1 minus charge, but there's 2 of them. So in order to balance out those 2 minuses, this copper must be a 2 plus. And copper, if you'll notice on the periodic table, it can play as a 1 plus or a 2 plus. In this case, for them to balance, it has to be playing as a 2 plus. That's why I'd need 1 copper and 2 bromines to make that compound. Its name would be copper. I'm using the 2 plus ion, so I put a 2 in Roman numerals, and then write the last one, bromide. Try the next couple. Again, I'm just playing off of iron. So oxygen, it's a 2 minus. For this to be a 1-to-1 relationship, this iron has to be a 2 plus for those charges to balance. Name, iron 2, because of that 2 right there, oxide. This iron here, I've got 3 oxygens. Each of them are a 2 minus. And I've got 2 irons. So in order for these things to balance, to get 6, here I've got 6 minus, I need to get 6 plus out of both of these. Each of them have to be a 3 plus. Therefore, the name for this compound would be, I'll put it over here, iron. And since it's using the 3 plus ion, I'll put a Roman numeral 3 there, iron 3 oxide. Okay, next one's tin and iodine. So iodine's a 1 minus charge. Again, look off your chart. And since I need 4 of them, the charge on the tin over here, there's just 1 of them. That charge on the tin has to be a 4 plus to balance out those 4 minuses. Name for this one, iron. Roman numeral for 4 is a 1 and a V, or an I and a V. So it'd be iron 4 iodide. Again, iodine's a 1 minus charge, but there's 2 of them. So the tin, in order to balance that 2 minus, there's only 1 of them. It has to have that whole thing to offset the 2 minus charges. Name will be, oh, I call this an iron. I shouldn't have called it iron. SN is tin. Tin, and then its charge is 2, so Roman numeral 2, tin 2, iodide. Okay, I've got, hopefully you get the idea then of naming the compounds for type 2 compounds. It's a bit of guesswork, bit of problem solving, but if you write down the ion charges, especially focus on the anion, and then whatever charge this one is becomes clear, and as long as you put it in the name, you are good. Now to go the other way, you also need to be able to, if I'm given a formula like iron 2 sulfate, I need to know how, or the name of that, I need to be able to get a formula out of it. Turns out that writing the formulas is way easier because they tell you which charge right there you're using. So like for in this case, it's iron 2 sulfate. That means I must be using the iron 2 plus ion. That 2 there is that 2 there. And sulfate off the polyatomic ions is SO4 2 minus. Since the charges are the same, they balance out. The formula for iron 2 sulfate is just FeSO4. Try some more. Iron 2 sulfide. So iron, and it's plain as a 2 plus, that's right from there. Sulfide is an S2 minus, look off your chart. They're balanced, so they're 1 to 1, so my formula is just FeS. Lead 4 oxide, so lead is Pb, 4 meaning it's plain as a 4 plus. Oxygen, always a 2 minus. So if I need to balance the charges, I have a Pb4 plus. Oxygen is only a 2 minus. To balance that, I need another oxygen. So I have a lead 4 plus and 2 oxygens. So my formula for that will be, I need 1 lead and 2 oxygens, PbO2. So PbO2 is lead 4 oxide. Okay. I guess here's just another example or two of doing that same thing, or of getting some names maybe. Yeah, this is getting names. Let's just practice a couple more of these. So if I have PbSO4, this is one with a polyatomic ion. Again, lead is one of these type 2 compounds where I have 2 charges. So it could be a 2 plus or it could be a 4 plus. If my formula says 1 lead and 2 sulfates, 1 lead, 2 sulfates, the other lead, 2 sulfates, which one of these is balanced? Here I've got a 2 plus, I've got a 4 minus, it's not that one. 4 plus and 2 minus and 2 minus, that's 4 minus, so these balance. So this right here, it must be using the lead 4 plus ion with that compound. So the name for this will be lead, and in Roman numerals I say it's using lead 4, can't be using lead 2 because it doesn't balance. So it's lead 4 sulfate. Okay, a couple more. Copper 1 nitride. Okay, let's write the ions. Copper, if it says it's a 1, that'll be a 1 plus. Nitride, from your chart, that's just nitrogen, and its charge is a 3 minus. So in order to balance those charges, it looks like I'm going to need 3 coppers to offset that 1 nitrogen, because this now will be 3 plus, and that offsets the 1 nitrogen. So the formula for this guy will be Cu3n. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. Notice I'm bouncing back and forth between writing formulas and writing names. And you need to be able to be good going both ways. Copper 2 nitrate. Let's finish with this one. So I have copper 2, so it says 2, so therefore it's a 2 plus. Nitrate, that'll be a polyatomic ion. Off the chart, it's an NO3 with a 1 minus charge. So in order to balance that, it looks like I need 1 of these, and I'm going to need 2 of these. Right? 2 of those, that's 2 minus and a 2 plus. So I need 1 of those and 2 of those. So my formula will be CuNO3, and I need 2 of those. So remember, we put those in brackets and put a little 2 down there. This will be the formula for copper 2 nitrate. You want to practice those. Try some of the online quizzes and any other help that you can get, just so you're very confident in working with type 2 compounds.